Hello! Today we are talking about a crucial part of your thesis journey, that is, formulating the statement of the problem and research questions. This is the heart of your thesis project. Let us distinguish a topic from a problem. A topic is something to read upon, a problem is something to solve. A well-defined research problem or question can help you find the focus of your study. You can become frustrated while writing a report about a topic. You'll have too much information and no focus. You won't know what to include and what to leave out. By contrast, a well-defined research problem will let you focus on an appropriate piece of a broad topic. The aim of the research may be to clarify a contradiction or fill a knowledge gap. The researchers may decide to conduct research to solve a problem, contribute to a social or scientific change, or add additional knowledge to an existing topic. So, what's the difference between the research problem and the research questions? A research problem identifies the gap in existing knowledge, while a research question is a specific query that aims to fill that gap. The research question has measurable answers. It is a specific query that you aim to answer in your research. It is a focused and concise inquiry that guides your research process. There are several characteristics to an effective research question. First, it has to be clear. It provides enough specifics that one's readers can easily understand its purpose without needing additional explanation. Second, it's focused. It is narrow enough that it can be answered thoroughly in the time the thesis writing task allows. Third, it is concise. It is expressed in the fewest possible words. Fourth, it is complex. That is, it is not answerable by a simple yes or no, but rather requires synthesis and analysis of ideas and sources prior to composition of an answer. And 5, it's arguable. It means that its potential answers are open to debate rather than accepted facts or something that is obvious. For example, we have here a question. How should newsrooms address the problem of state-sponsored fake news? As you can see, this is very unclear and too broad. It can be made clearer by saying, what actions are newsrooms taking to verify the information they receive from government sources? Another example, what are online news media doing to attract audiences to their website? Again, unclear. It is better to say, how are Philippine online news media using search engine optimization to increase traffic to their website? There are several types of research problems. The first is for descriptive research, which asks the what is and suggests a survey research design. For example, what is the prevailing organizational culture in broadcast networks? Or what is the status of the professional satisfaction of provincial radio journalists? Another example, what is the level of ethical awareness of newspaper beat reporters in the Justice, Congress, and Foreign Affairs beats? The second is correlational research. It asks what is the relationship between two or more variables and implies a correlational design. Some examples. Does a commitment to ethics among media practitioners depend on their educational or professional training? So we're looking here at the correlation to ethical awareness and educational training. Second, has the number of students pursuing a degree in journalism been affected by the issue of slain journalists? Again, a relationship. How does the relationship between the mayor and beat reporters affect the latter's coverage of City Hall? The third is comparative research, which asks what is the difference between two or more groups or approaches. Some examples, is there a significant difference in the number of UP journalism and broadcast graduates who actually pursue a career in their fields of study? Again, is there a difference between the work values of journalists who come from the state universities vis-a-vis the private schools? And another example is how do male and female journalists compare in the coverage of disasters? Is the exploratory research, which seeks to explain why a particular phenomenon or event occurs, typically involves testing a hypothesis. Some examples: do newsrooms have an AI policy? How are newsrooms using AI? What factors affect the journalism students' choice of non-journal electives? What is the Filipino journalist concept of press freedom? Can science students identify science-related disinformation? The third is evaluative research, which involves assessing the effectiveness of a particular intervention, program, or policy. For example, do high school media literacy courses help students differentiate factual news from disinformation? Or another, does the new UP journalism curriculum give its graduates a better preparation for real-world journalism? And still another example, did the threats to media during the Duterte regime result in self-censorship among journalists? After writing the research problem, one has to write the research objectives, which help you stay focused, steers your research in the required direction, helps define and limit the scope of your research, helps create and maintain an overall structure, and specifies two main things: the variables and the methods of quantifying those variables. So how do you do this? First, objectives simply break down the main problem into small units. Each sub-problem should be a completely researchable unit. That is, interpretation of data must be apparent with each sub-problem, and the sub-problems must add to the totality of the main problem. How do you determine what your objectives will be? Here are some ideas. State your main research question clearly and concisely. Describe the ultimate goal of your study, which is similar to the research question, but states the intended outcomes more definitively. Third, divide this main goal into subcategories to develop your objectives. Fourth, limit the number of objectives, ideally 3 to 4 specific objectives and 1 to 2 general ones, and assess each objective using the SMART method. What is it? A good objective is specific, clear about what, why, when, and how, measurable, identifies the main variables of the study and quantifies the targets, achievable, attainable using the available time and resources, realistic, accurately addresses the scope of the problem, and time-bound. It identifies the time in which each step will be completed. For example, the problem statement is, the Duterte administration blatantly showed its hostility towards the media through presidential pronouncements as well as the shutting down of the biggest broadcast network. Many media advocates say that this has caused a chilling effect on journalists. Research question: what is the effect of the government hostility against media on journalists? Objectives: first, to determine journalist perception of press freedom in the Philippines. Second, to ascertain if journalists have specific experiences with regards to this hostility or if they feel the so-called chilling effect. And third, to explore their attitudes and actions with regards to their perception of this chilling effect. A second example. The problem: as previously discussed, there has been a global decline in newspaper print readership in the past 5 years. The Philippines is no exception. Thus, this thesis would like to explore the impact of declining readership on two of the leading newspapers in the country. Research question: how are the leading papers, specifically Philippine Star and Philippine Daily Inquirer, coping with the declining newspaper readership? Objectives: to verify the declining readership by examining the circulation of the newspapers. Second, to determine the strategies that newspapers have adopted to deal with this decline. Third, to explore the editor's view of the future of newspapers given this situation. Some useful definitions of thesis terms to remember. Topic: the general subject of areas of interest that the research will explore. Research problem states the phenomenon that is being addressed by the research. Research question, a clear and specific question or questions that the research seek to answer or investigate. Objective, a statement or statements that describe the purpose of the research, what it aims to achieve, and the expected outcomes. And hypothesis, an educated guess or prediction about the relationship between variables which is tested during the research. I hope this helps you in the crucial step of writing your statement of the problem and research questions. For more information, tune in to this channel.